ready right now. Exactly what I had the other way. And I can see it with me right when it's supposed to trying to recruit somebody from so, fun guys. My luck. I figured I would. Sorry.
Everything. I'm worried about it.
Yeah. I'm gonna be.
That's right. Nobody has internet from where I'm from, so I'll be okay.
What game are you play?
EQ. Classic EQ.
Cool. How long you been playing?
10 years. Since 2000. It's been fantastic.
Wow. What's your favorite part of the game?
I don't raid at all. I play only group. And I don't even have an Uber character. My highest character is 75.
Really?
I like to group and quest. A couple of real life buddies. We all live in the same town.
Oh yeah?
We're the ones that get together and blow 2 or 3 nights a week.
Where are you from?
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
We have a lot of fun.
Right on.
Yeah, just we're playing content that's 4 or 5 years old. Still having a blast though.
There you go.
Yeah, that's great. We like it a lot.
Is this your first Fan Faire?
Yes, it is. It's my first Fan Faire.
Wow.
I'm really excited. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love Vegas too. You can't go wrong, man.
Right. Well, cool. Thanks.
And it actually has, you can see on the wrist kind of the bottom, there's actually a telegraph key, and as you tap it, the sounder on the top actually operates, and so does the one in the middle, and the crystals in the window glow. And so to show kind of like the mishmash of how you put stuff together, on the left, those are 2 decorative bells, the wall-hanging bells, put opposite each other with a piece of brass wrapped around it. The window was the bell had a stem and it had a fake captain's wheel that was supposed to hang on your wall, and that cut off all the handles and the spokes, and that became the window. And then I just found electronic parts. That's a curtain rod on the right, but it actually extends.
So now, one thing about this, do tell us, because I happen to know because I picked it up, how much does that thing on your back weigh?
Oh, you know, it's probably about 15, 20 pounds, but it's no worse than like hiking with a backpack.
But it does mean you have to be really careful to try it on and make sure your straps are comfortable before you start
Yeah,
putting it on.
I did. I knew it was going to be heavy, so I tried to make it out of the thinnest wood I could and still have it be sturdy. So it shows the telegraph key from the front.
It's really gorgeous.
And then we're back at the beginning. So just showing how I source out parts. I made the wrist piece just out of scrap leather. The vest is from like Gentleman's Emporium, a Wild West online shop. The hat is an $8 bowler hat from the local costume shop. It's really hot because it's all made out of fake material. The tie, I left my tie and had to pick one up at Walmart for $3 on the way to the event. I don't have I have like the fake collar from the 1800s, but not a shirt, so I just took a dress shirt and tucked the collar in, and put that collar around it, and you know, so it's just sort of a mishmash of stuff, and the telegraph stuff I got from eBay. So those are all my pictures. I'll turn off the camera. So, hi everybody. So that's a little of our costuming pedigree. I mean, I've been doing it for 20 years now. You've been doing it
For as long as I can remember, Halloween was always my favorite holiday. I was just sort of run into everything. Dressed up as a princess at Christmas all the time just because I could. So that would be about 85 years.
So, so costuming, I think, is you have to get inspired for a costume. It has to be, if you're doing a replica thing, it has to be from a game you love. It has to be a character you really like. It's hard to get. There's so much work and effort and money involved that if you're not like in love with it, if you're not terribly inspired by it, you will not finish it.
That's very true. That inspiration comes in many forms, of course. I was so delighted to hear, as an insider working at the company, that the next expansion was indeed going to be Velius, which as a player we've been asking for a long time, that I thought, oh, this is my grand opportunity to make a Velius-inspired costume. It helps as well that it's somewhat corporate, colours, showing my new allegiance to the company. But that's where you get inspiration from that sort of thing. But I can just be walking through Kmart or something and see something like, I saw a vase, and it was made out of really thin metal. And I didn't get to finish it in time for this fanfare, but for next fanfare for sure, this thin metal vase, it's about this long, about that wide, and that's going to be my band hammer. So that's going to be really awesome when I eventually get around to doing it. But inspiration comes from the fact that I bet all three of us do this. You walk through a store, you walk through a yard sale, you walk through anywhere and you go, I bet I could use that someday! And you stick it in one of your 3 closets of costume and bits.
Yeah, the someday thing, yeah.
Yeah, but it's cool because there's always something you can make, right?
And my husband, who's not a costumer, and I have a whole box, well, several tubs of Sundays that he's really getting tired of. What are you gonna do with this stuff?
Well, and like when I was doing my way of steampunk costume, probably half the stuff I bought I ended up not using. Like the very first, I bought these really cool things that had gears on the end. Oh, these are super awesome, I can make valves out of them or something like that. And they ended up not even going on the costume because it just ended up not happening. But I have them for future.
Yes.
Right, yeah, when I made the Laura Croft steampunk costume for Dragon Con last year, my husband's like, how much are you spending? And all in all, I spent probably about $200 pulling that together. I had the corset I found at a thrift store, and it was kind of an apple green, and it wasn't quite the right color, so I needed to go buy a synthetic dye, and I actually dyed it with blue dye to make it more the Laura Croft signature turquoise color of her tank top. And then there was the fabric, and then there was the little gadgets and the gizmos, and about $200, but I assured him that I would get more use out of this costume. And I'm already like, what's my next steampunk costume going to be?
And that is an important topic, really. The topic of budgeting. My husband's really kind of resigned to the fact that I'm going to allot myself $500 every year for my dwarf costume. And that's because I tend to buy expensive stuff. See this cool, shiny, metallic fabric? Isn't that nice? Gorgeous, $28 a yard. And I'm going, okay.
But I only need 6 yards of it.
Right? I have a little bit left over. I might just make a little cocktail dress out of it, you know. But there is that. But there's also, you can make a lot of your own stuff. Like Jason was saying, you don't need to sew well. I am the world's worst sewer. I fight with the sewing machine like nobody's business. There's plenty of seams in this. Thank God they're all hidden. Do not look at the hemline too closely when I walk by, let me tell you. I'm terrible with the sewing machine, but it's good enough to get me by. On the other hand, I have a beautiful pirate coat. It's lovely, it's sort of semi-corseted and has long tails and stuff. Did I make that? Hell no. I went to an expert, ordered it from Etsy.com. Is it Etsy.com?
Etsy.
You got that from Damsel in Distress, right?
Yes, Damsel in Distress, yeah. Anyway, it was fantastic, and okay, so I paid $350 for it, but it's the only pirate coat I'm ever going to need. So it's, you know, you have to view your investments as well. And underneath that, I wear a long skirt that I got at a thrift shop for $2. So I figured it balances out, right?
You're not going to be able to do it and mess with the UI elements. You're not going to be able to run Lua and do scripting on our UI system.
Yeah, well, it's WoW's interface is better than that.
All of them. A lot of interfaces are better than that. But those interfaces are important because in those games you're standing here as a healer, you're standing back and you're watching the health bar. You're not in the face doing action. It's a different game. It's hard enough to simply hit this demo and watch your health in the top left-hand corner and still do all the fighting.
You know,
will be mixed up in between rounds to attempt to balance the pottery. That's what we got.
How are we melee?
We all survive with this.
Sony.